So at first, like I said earlier, I want to make sure that he knows that my hand is not a threat. So I'm going to rub him all over. Now, Pharaoh is a brand new horse, so these exercises are also new to him. And so I need to make sure that I go ahead and rub him really nicely all over. And so I can even go ahead and raise his foot, for example. I always want to make sure that when I do that, I go all the way down the foot. And then I continue. And same thing in the hindquarters. I need to make sure that he knows that my hand is not a threat. Now once I go ahead and do that, I can start teaching him how to yield to my hand. So at first, I want to do a very subtle movement where he doesn't feel any pressure, but he can see the movement. Then I continue until he goes ahead and yields. Once he makes that first step, I want to let go so that he learns that the correct movement takes away the pressure. Now, I can go ahead and continue, do it again. So I go ahead and train him to yield to my hand, and it's always first a very gentle movement, then a more direct movement, and then finally, if he still doesn't answer, I go ahead and push until he goes ahead and yields. And he will learn little by little that he doesn't have to wait until I do the hard movement, that he can already start to move when I'm doing the gentle movement. If it's a bigger horse that is a lot more rowdy, then I don't want to get too close. I don't want to use my hand. I might want to use a really long stick as an extension of my hand. It's not a stick to use as a weapon or to hurt the horse. It is really just an extension. So you use a long stick, you tie a plastic bag on the end to desensitize the horse, and you go ahead and rub him with that long stick and that plastic bag so you can do it from a safer distance. And then the same principle applies. You use that distance and start to teach him how to yield, where you make him turn around you. You can teach him to go forward. You can teach him also to back up. And all these using very gentle movements. So at first you go, teaching a horse to back up is the hardest thing to teach a horse, because it goes against every single reflex, which is go forward. Something happens, go forward. Teaching a horse how to back up goes against that. And so it'll take quite a bit of patience to go ahead and teach him that pushing back means back, but it's the same principle. You start gentle and you go a little harder and then much harder, and then once he goes ahead and backs up, that first step, you let go so that he understands that as soon as he does what it is that you want him to do, you're going to take away the pressure. In order to back up, you grab him by the nose here, very gently, and here by the chest bone, you make L shape, and push right here in the chest. Then the combination is you go ahead and push back, and as soon as he goes ahead and goes back, you can let go. Then as he learns that, you can go ahead and make the backwards progression longer and longer and longer. And that is a very non-abusive way to go ahead and teach a horse, because the horse learns that with less and less pressure, it can go ahead and do the same thing. Now, how does that translate on the horse? We can go ahead and move.